The possibility of a ceasefire and peace in Gaza is currently the subject of intense speculation and diplomatic activity. As of today, both outgoing US President Joe Biden and incoming President Donald Trump have weighed in, suggesting that a breakthrough could be imminent. And Biden has described this deal as being on the brink and framed it as part of his foreign policy achievements, while Trump, in a Newsmax interview, asserted that the deal is very close and could materialize by the end of the week. Negotiations are centered in Doha, with high-level delegations from Israel and Hamas engaged in what officials describe as the most advanced talks to date. Notably, Mossad chief David Barnea and Shin Bet chief Ronan Bar have been dispatched to Qatar, underscoring Israel's commitment to reaching a real resolution. And reports indicate that 90% of the terms have been agreed upon, including a phased withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, the release of hostages, and an increase in humanitarian aid to Palestinians. However, the peace remains precarious, and the Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar expressed cautious optimism, thanking the US for its mediation efforts, while a Hamas official emphasized unresolved core issues. This sentiment of uncertainty was echoed by the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who admitted that the deal could fall apart despite significant progress. The stakes are high. Protests in Israel demanding a prisoner exchange have added domestic pressure on Prime Minister Netanyahu, whose far-right coalition partners like Bezalel Smotrich staunchly oppose any compromise. And meanwhile, Gaza remains a humanitarian catastrophe, with over 46,000 Palestinians killed and millions displaced since the conflict's escalation in October 2023. Regionally, this deal could serve as a linchpin for de-escalation, and Gulf Cooperation Council countries led by Qatar and Saudi Arabia are pivotal mediators. Saudi Arabia's demand for Palestinian statehood as part of normalization with Israel highlights the interconnectedness of regional peace and Israeli-Palestinian conflict, yet challenges persist. Iran's recent military maneuvers in response to Israeli airstrikes risk further destabilization, while Hezbollah and other proxies could escalate their involvement. This fragile context underscores the urgency of a ceasefire to avert broader regional war. Leadership transitions in the US add another layer of complexity, and Biden's diplomatic overtures contrast sharply with Trump's more combative stance, as exemplified by his warning of all hell if no deal is reached by the inauguration. The interplay of these divergent approaches will shape the outcome of the negotiations, and while optimism abounds, history tempers expectations, and ceasefires have been broken before, often unravelling under the weight of unaddressed root causes like occupation and unequal rights, and any lasting peace must go beyond immediate conflict resolution to address these structural issues. But a ceasefire with a view towards peace is a right step forward as negotiations continue. This is a crossroads moment where the possibility of peace, however slim, is within reach. And if the people in that room in Doha can break the cycle of violence and pave the way for a sustainable resolution, that is a positive. But I think I think it definitely means that the world community needs to recognize Palestine as a state. That must be part of the process towards a lasting and sustainable peace in the Middle East.